All right. This is going to be the last video for the night. It is now 6:29, so about 45 minutes since the last little short video that I shot. I did raise up the easel a bit more than I thought I would, so it's about 4 inches that I raised it up. And I was actually kind of crouching a little bit, drawing some of the elements that were down here. The cart, the paper's getting kind of damaged. I think this was from the lotion on my hands. So I went ahead and used a ruler to get this angle right. And of course I used my sighting techniques. Here I can demonstrate with a ruler. So there's like vertical and horizontal, but I can slant the ruler up and kind of ask myself what time would this be pointing to, and it's like a little bit above 3 o'clock on the front and kind of like 10 o'clock on the side there. So here you can see that even though this part of the cart is covered by the fabric, I drew it in anyway, and I actually moved this guy over again. So that was the third time that I moved this over, because I could tell by the way it was lining up, or rather not lining up with the fabric. I can tell in real life, right, that corner of the cart is just a little bit past that little, you see that little point in the fabric right there? So when I had that corner of the cart over here, I couldn't make the fabric be as close to the sculpture as it needs to be while also being correctly over this. Now, technically, I still flubbed it a little bit because this point should be right over the midpoint. But we also have to keep in mind our time. And this looks good enough. This looks good enough. The angle of the fabric is close enough to reality that even though it's not this exact kind of like zigzag angle relative to the cart, it still looks pretty good. I can still get the perspective on the fabric close enough, even though this is a little bit off. But again, I know that it's a little bit off. And that's the difference. When you're drawing very actively thinking about what you're doing, you can keep track of all of these moving parts, all of these things that are just a little bit off, and you can compensate for them if you're aware of them. Whereas if you're really focused on doing something else, whether that something else is listening to a podcast or having a conversation with a friend, you're not going to be able to keep track of all of these things because your attention is divided. And when you are learning to draw from life, when you are doing observational drawing, still relatively new to it, you really need the verbal centers of your brain focused on verbalizing what you're doing with your drawing. When you get better and more experienced at drawing, that's when you can start letting the parts of your brain that aren't actively involved in drawing do other things. So for example, I love listening to music. I was listening to some Japanese shoegaze there. But for one, I'm more experienced, simply because I've been doing this for longer. But again, notice that I'm not trying to do another visual task. I'm listening to music. I'm not watching music videos. I'm not watching movies. I'm not watching podcasts where you can see the people speaking. I am just listening to music and still focusing all of the visual processing parts of my brain, all of my visual attention on what I'm doing, on going back and forth between the drawing and the still life. So at this point, I am going to stop for the day. I don't know when I'll be able to continue on with this, but I notice some things to keep in mind for next time. In this area, the back of the sculpture and the horn, or the bell of the horn rather, they're very similar in value on this side. So I have to make a decision here as an artist. I need to decide which one of these things is going to be lighter than the other, because I want them to be clearly visually separated. And this is one last thing that I want to show. I've shown this to a few people one-on-one, but keep in mind that you can make so many different shades of gray, and it's not always achieved necessarily by putting charcoal, like adding charcoal in one spot, adding it and filling that spot with that value, or coloring it in, so to speak. Same thing with making things lighter. So here, again, I want to differentiate between this and this, because there's that super bright spot on the horn. And I decided that I want the horn overall to be just a tad lighter than the sculpture. I'll probably go ahead and leave some of the visual ambiguity in, but not too much. So if I want to make this whole area lighter, but I don't know exactly by how much. So rather than just erasing all of it away and ending up with white, what I can do is just dab a little bit away and then reblend. Now my fingers were dirty, so that didn't do too much. So I can take that much away, but I know I don't want it that much brighter, so then I just reblend. Because keep in mind, to make something lighter, all you have to do is take material away. And to make something darker, all you have to do is add material. But in what proportion? How much? You don't have to know when you're doing it. You just do it. And this is, again, just another reason why you have to be paying attention to what you're doing as you're doing it. Because this way you can keep reacting to every change that you make. You don't have to know from the beginning, I need to take away 0.3 grams of charcoal. No, you do it. You add, you take away, you pay attention to what you're doing. You see how it looks. Here, I kind of didn't like how it was getting a little bit fuzzy, so I added some, and now I'm going to take some more away. That's fine. This is a push and a pull. It's not about having the perfect formula in your brain for how things need to turn out. And this goes back to that Picasso quote over there. I am always doing that which I cannot do, in order that I may learn how to do it. You just got to do it, folks. You have to do it, but you have to do it paying attention. So again, it's 6:36, and I said I started around 4:20. So even if we said 4:30, this is 2 hours worth of drawing, 120 minutes. Actually, no, it's not 120 minutes worth of drawing. It's maybe it's more like an hour and a half, or a little bit under an hour and a half, subtracting for the time that I was responding to an email and sending you guys a Teams message about that CCS scholarship. So yeah, hopefully I would like to finish this drawing someday. I actually really, really like both of these still lives, but unfortunately I have to teach how to draw, not necessarily have fun drawing myself. So yeah, I hope this was kind of helpful, even if this is as far as I can go. So yeah, see you around.